Welcome to Premier League Match Day 5 preview and review. I'm your host Dan, and let's kick it. So here we are starting out with our review of Match Week 4, looking at game number 1, Arsenal versus Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest sacked their manager before this game, and it turns out that did not help them at all as they still get trounced by Arsenal 3-0. Sometimes that's just what happens. Our second game of the day, Bournemouth versus Brighton and Hove Albion. Bournemouth takes it 2-1. Not too much to say about that one. That's a pretty expected outcome. Game number 3 of the day, Crystal Palace versus Sunderland in a 0-0 draw. Sunderland is having an absolutely amazing start of this season. I don't think anybody saw this coming. And after Crystal Palace sells Eze, they can't get anything going on offense, they can't score, and they come to a disappointing draw. Fourth game of the day, Everton versus Aston Villa. Another 0-0 draw. This is what we love about the top league in the world, the Premier League. Back-to-back 0-0 draws. I think both teams would take this, but I think it favored Everton a little more. I think it's a little better for them. Next game, Fulham versus Leeds United. Fulham does sneak away with the 1-0 win. A lot of people think Leeds is one of the worst teams, though, so maybe as Fulham, that's a little bit of a sign of disaster, but a win's a win, and you move on. Our next game, Newcastle United versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Boy, oh boy, where do I even start with the Wolves? 0 goals through 4 weeks. They have the worst goal differential. They don't have a win. They don't have a draw. They have all losses. They are looking like one of the worst teams in Premier League history through 4 games so far. This is just terrible, and I'm excited to keep watching. Our penultimate game of the day, West Ham United versus Tottenham Hotspur. I think I got this prediction horribly wrong. I expected West Ham to win it after Tottenham got embarrassed the week before, and it turns out that is not the case as they annihilate a 10-man West Ham squad. West Ham's got to get it going, or their manager might be the second to get ball sacked this season. The last game of Saturday, Brentford versus Chelsea, and if you're a football fan, you should be fuming after the outcome of this game. VAR fails time and time again to get things right. That's clearly offside. Chelsea should have won at least 10-0 because of that offsides call. I don't want to hear anything else. And our first of 2 Sunday slate games, Burnley versus Liverpool. 10-man Burnley goes down to the wire against Liverpool, and then Mohamed Salah picking his nose, playing with the Dandelions for 95 minutes. Liverpool gets a penalty and he puts it away. That's just the kind of player he is, one of the greats. Last game of match week 4, another one that I got horribly wrong. I said after Man City got upset last week, Man United was going to come out on top in this one, and boy oh boy do I look like a fool. Call me Jamie Gallagher. I am a fool, okay? Man City blitzes Man United. Manchester is blue, that's all there is to say. So here we are on to the predictions for match week 5, starting off with the first game on Saturday, Liverpool versus Everton. Liverpool last week barely snuck out a win by the hair on Mo Salah's head against a 10-man Burnley. That's not what you like to see, and Everton comes to an equal draw last week in one of the most exciting Premier League matches this season. You would love to say it's going to be more of the same for Liverpool, as quite possibly the world's number one Liverpool hater, but I'm going to have to give the edge to Liverpool on this one. Mo Salah, 132nd minute winner after sitting on the ground all game. So, yeah. Second match of the day, Brighton and Hove Albion versus Tottenham Hotspurs. Brighton was all right, and Tottenham looked great, but Tottenham is having a crazy up and down season so far this year. It's kind of hard to predict what they're going to be doing. And since they seem to be having a little bit of a pattern, they were great last week. I'm going to say they're going to be bad this week. Give me Brighton 2-0. Here we go. Potential game of the week material. Don't sleep on this game. Burnley versus Nottingham Forest. The first game for Nottingham's new manager against one of the worst sides the Premier League has ever seen. You would love to say Nottingham's going to take this one, but if Burnley wins, will Nottingham sack their manager? Let's find out. Give me Burnley 1-0. Our next match of the day, West Ham United versus Crystal Palace. Now, Crystal Palace hasn't been able to do that much since selling Eze, but West Ham, really outside of one game, they look horrible. So I'll take Crystal Palace on this one, 2-0. And as I said in my last video, Wolverhampton Wanderers versus Leeds United, I am going to continue to pick against Wolves until they can show anybody differently. Now, this is not legal advice, but if I were a betting man, I would probably put the mortgage down on Leeds in this game. You know, easiest money you've ever made, hypothetically. And here we go in the 12:30 slot. A tale as old as time. The rivals, Man United versus Chelsea. Man United, this could be the worst Man United team in history. It's certainly the worst in Premier League history. It might be the worst in United's entire history. And you know, Chelsea's just always been one of the greatest teams of all time. All their European accolades, you know, they've won it all. I'm sure you guys have never heard that before. So give me Chelsea 5-1. Simple. Last game of the day is Fulham versus Brentford. Brentford snatched a draw from the jaws of defeat last week with a little help from the guys named VAR. With that being said, I do think Fulham is still the better team, but when VAR is on your side, anything's possible. So I'll take a 1-1 draw. Starting with our Sunday fixtures, Bournemouth versus Newcastle first up. These are both pretty evenly matched teams. I'm a little low on Newcastle though. I don't think they're as good as people say, especially now that they sell Isak. I still think it'll be close though. I'll take a 2-2 draw. Our second 9 o'clock game is Sunderland versus Aston Villa. Looks like my opinion on Sunderland is going to have to change, and this is going to be the week to change it. Give me Sunderland with the victory over Aston Villa in a close one, 2-1. Now, I know Burnley versus Nottingham is the real match of the week, but Arsenal versus Manchester City is a very close second. Two title favorites here going at it in the last game of the week, prime time, if you will. Man City looked amazing last week, but United is horrible. As much as I hate to say it, I might have to pick Arsenal here, but for the sake of the joke, say it's 2-1. And there you have it. That is this week, Matchweek 5's predictions. I will leave my all-time and last week's predictions on the screen up to this point. If you guys enjoy, leave a like, and if there's anything that you think I got right or wrong, leave a comment about it down below. Peace.